Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waiting and for your patience. We have had some technical problems. We're going to begin now. And we, as Biffi we're current of the situation of the global community, and that's why we want to generate experiences that provide and bring hope, joy, learning, and entertainment in challenging times. We have the pleasure to welcoming you to Biffi Fest 2021. It's showtime anytime. Welcome to our speech contest. Today's competition purpose is to provide you an opportunity for your speakers to improve your speaking abilities and to recognize the best as encouragement to all. To gain experience with critical thinking while constructing persuasive arguments and to be able to hold one of the major aspects of leadership, persuasion. Let us bow our heads and place ourselves in the presence of God. So please close your eyes and give us this moment. Dear Lord, as we gather before you to participate in this academic contest, make us aware that we do this competition not for us, but to glorify your name. Grant your wisdom to all contestants. May your loving heart fill each of us so that we could all realize that it is not winning that truly counts, but the honest and noble way we get there. Bestow your generosity and love to all of us present here today. Whatever we accomplish in this competition, we offer all of this to you. Let this event serve as a way to praise your name and spread your good news. Live Jesus in our hearts forever. Now it's time to know some key information related to this, our speech contest, such as topics, rules, contestants, and judges. Our speech contest will be composed of 3 categories, each one dependent on the grade students are, which are, we have acrobats for 9th graders, we have tamers for 10th graders, and we have ring masters for 11th graders. Let me introduce you to the jury that will be helping us in choosing the winners today. They are Mauricio Orozco, who is an English teacher at Universidad Simón Bolívar. He's here with us. And we have Miriam Morrón, who is a mentor of the program Soy Bilingüe in Secretaría de Educación Distrital. Thank you for accepting this invitation and helping us here in this contest. Before we start, I would like to let our honorable judges to say hello and say something to the contestants today. Mauricio, do you want to say something to our contestants?
Yes. I was unmuting myself. Thank you for the introduction. It's a pleasure for me to be here today with you, watching all the students presenting, doing their presentations, and I'm sure they will do it great. The tip for you is to do it freely, enjoy what you do, and you will see everything will be great. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you very much, Mauricio. Miriam?
Hello, good morning. I'm sorry, I'm having troubles with my camera because of the internet connection, but I'm happy to be here with you. It's a pleasure for me to be here as a judge for you, but try not to see in that way my position. Just I'm here as well as Mauricio to enjoy with you this activity. This is something that is great and is really nice to do. I always love the speech contest. So it's a very good way to reinforce our language speaking and abilities. So have a great time today, and well, let's see what happens.
Okay, thank you very much, Miriam and
Good
Mauricio.
luck for everyone.
Thank you. So before we start, let us welcome all the school guests we have today. We have Instituto La Salle, we have American School, we have San José de La Salle, we have La Salle Bogotá, La Salle Envigado, La Salle Montería, Colegio Sagrado Corazón Villa Puerto, Instituto San Carlos de La Salle, and obviously our school, Biffi La Salle. And let's remember the rules we have for this speech contest. We have, remember that participation can be in pairs or individually. We have, you must have prepared, must have prepared your speech in advance, and you have sent your slides. Remember, it's mandatory for you to use digital tools. Remember the time allotted for you, it's between 5 and 7 minutes. Okay? If you use more time than that, it will be penalized. Okay? So let's start right now hearing the presentations for our contestants, and we're going to start in the first category. We will start with the category of the acrobats for 9th graders, and the first couple to be speaking will be Valerie de la Hoz Lopez and Marianne Tapia from Colegio del Sagrado Corazón Villapuerto.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Valerie de la Hoz. Is Valerie here? Okay, let's continue with the next couple. Luis Carlos Vergara is not here. We have Luis Vergara.
Yes.
And is Bianca Bisbal here?
yes.
We're trying to permission to share your presentation.
Okay. Hello, my name is Luis Carlos Vergara, and I will present this topic. Kids shouldn't take part of the entertainment industry with my partner, Bisbal Bianca. And I will have these slides.
Okay, well, today we're going to talk about why kids shouldn't be involved in the entertainment industry, how my partner said, and I'm going to begin the topic. Being an important person in this industry involves various things. Some of them are positive, but most of them are not, like the ability of being in public spaces without being harassed or cameras following you everywhere, recording every move you do. Being exposed to every type of danger, basically. These type of things can guide everyone, but most childs, to face psychological problems due to lack of social life and security. And this can end in an alcohol or drugs addiction, or even worse, in suicide. Kids are easily influenced by the media as well, and the harsh comments, fake rumors, or words of the kind can break the positive mentality of everyone. but young people are more likely to be affected by that, as I said. As we all know, kids have to have an integral education that can be homeschooled or not. And being in the entertainment industry can stop that integral formation because certain aspects are not seen as important as others, like proper communication with the people of their age or younger, expressing their feelings to others, or understanding of the word problematic. And to be a famous person, you have to be extra careful of your surroundings and your words, and know how to separate your private and your public life, something that can be extremely tiring and it can cause health issues. These are many of the dangers that any people can face, but kids are more likely to when they're exposed to pressure and this kind of life. It is better if parents let their kids grow and take their own decisions.
Okay, so I'll talk about some cases like Mara Wilson. If you recognize this photo, because I put in the photos, like, so you could like compare. She was Matilda, the girl with the psychic powers. The thing about her is that after she was Matilda and got all this recognition and everyone saw her, she began to have various issues, like a little of anxiety because everyone was looking for her and like everyone literally was after her. And also like she didn't like this life a lot because she felt she couldn't express herself because she had to do the same every time going to castings and all of that. And this caused her a little depression because she like began to get distant from other people, and she really it really affected her, even at the point that she developed obsessive compulsive disorder and attention difficulty and hyperactivity disorder. And one of her, like, she had the luck that she didn't got affected for all her life, but at least she left acting. And now she writes books, and now she also she talks about other famous kids and analyzes their lives. Another case is Macaulay Culkin. If you recognize him, he's Kevin from Home Alone. Actually, this photo is pretty iconic of him because this is like one time when no one knew about him, and this was like the first time they knew about him. The thing about him is that when he began to have a lot of papers, he began like to get more and more money at the point that he left his parents really young. But his problem was that he left his parents really, really young and he wasn't mature enough. So the thing with him is that because he couldn't administrate all his new recognition and all his money, he began to have a real sad life. And also he got out far away from his parents that caused him depression. And this depression caused him alcoholism, meaning that he was actually pretty bad affected after this. And Jake Lloyd, he's the kid. Remember him? He's the kid from Star Wars. So the thing of him is that basically he thought everything was going to be better for him, you know. Everything was going to be better, but he never expected, for example, that his classmates will begin to make jokes about him and laugh about him. And then he got a pretty sad life. He got disconnected from other kids. And also because of the inclusion of drugs and alcohol, he began a criminal life. Not like a criminal exactly, but he began a police record for wild driving, for violence, and for escaping authority. And in a more recent time, he's in a mental institution because he has been diagnosed with schizophrenia. And he's really one of those cases compared to the other two where they could kind of get back. He is still bad. He's in a really bad situation. And everyone thought he could do something cool about it. It's pretty bad. And here we have a conclusion is that this, what we have talked about, shows that kids are not accustomed rated and they are not actually resistant to this kind of pressures, to this kind of conditions that cause them to, let's say, destroy their lives usually. For 3 of these cases, I chose them because they were going from best to worst. Because, I mean, the first case, she's now in a writing career. In the second, well, he is kind of getting his acting career back. He's getting back. But in the third, like him, he has not get back up. And all of these problems with a bunch of other factors can destroy a kid's life. So the thing is that there are many things you gotta take account when you enter this. Many things, and many things can go wrong. So the thing with this is that if you want to be a young actor, a child actor, or your parents are like trying to put you in this, or you have a talent, like you gotta think twice if you will be able to handle all of these characteristics. You can, for example, handle recognition. You can handle people following you to your house, like everyone knowing you from the street, like losing all your privacy. You gotta ask yourself and think twice if you really want to be famous as a child. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luis Carlos Vergara and Bianca Bisbal from Colegio del Sagrado Corazón Villa Puerto. Now, following this presentation, we will have David Santiago Ramos and Gabriela Fuentes Mora from Colegio de la Salle, Bogotá.
Okay, so Gabriela isn't here because she had a problem, but I'm doing her part. So
okay, so our topic is the use of animals for entertainment should be outlawed. Why we first think that it's important to select and to realize this.
So we believe that it's important to recognize that along history we have capitalized on everything, that we have sold and treated animals as if they were products for our own benefit and fun, and that our purpose is to do something about it. So we want you to know that, and we want you to like be able to see how the industry and how the society has made us believe that animals and products are like products or things made for our fun, and that and how that thought isn't a good thought and make them relevant.
We also wonder how the people that train these animals think that they could be safe around cameras and around all of this stress that in the industry of entertainment it's managed, like how all the accumulated persons in the room or in the place that that you are presenting, how they could react and how they aren't really safe. So most of the animals used in circuses, TV shows, or entertainments suffer a lot of stress in different kinds of scenarios. mostly because there's a lot of because there's a flow of people and pressure put around the animal, and this is something that because their natural habits show them, the animals cannot manage this.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about animal mistreatment. So the safety that ensures that animals won't hear you isn't always 100% sure. And it's like we have to like have in mind that the fact that animals generally have such a passive reaction to the constant side of humans, it demonstrates that they had like severe training and probably an aggressive one. Like we all know that a healthy wild animal wouldn't react like that, wouldn't like be, okay, touch me and write those things. Like we have to, we do know that they wouldn't be in that way in their normal habitats, and that's important.
At the same time, it teaches people to disrespect all the fauna, that it shows everything, and it shows that these animals that are naturally our partners here in the world are just like an object that you can use and reuse and reuse and reuse, and principally like make that these animals being, I don't know, like an object and something that you can waste.
Okay, so the fears of animals.
Many of the animals in zoos suffer from depression and anxiety. This negative psychological state of captive animals is so frequent that it has a scientific term that psychosis. This is basically that they engage in a behavior such as pacing, rocking, excessive vomiting, biting, grooming, and self-harm. 75% of the animals are abused in world associations of zoos and aquariums. There's a 96% of chance that an elephant is treated poorly in entertainment. Polar bears don't have even remotely enough space in zoos. Most zoos aren't engaged in conservations of rare or endangered animals.
So this is, wait a second. So this is not like we thinking. This is not just we thinking that animals are objects, but it's also animals suffering because our fault.
Some reasons about our arguments can be that in circus, you can see different animals balancing on balls, riding on bicycles, riding motorcycles, crossing fire rings, dancing, jumping, etc. And this is a comportment that you shouldn't allow, because first you can injure one animal, and second, the animal could react badly and could maybe harm a person that is in the place. Yeah.
So the circus, for example, are shows that have like innumerable human resources, and you don't need to mistreat and humiliate animals for making people like being fun. It's not necessary to hurt animals or have a good time, and we want to make people conscious of that.
And actually, you know that sometimes it doesn't be fun. It isn't fun for us. Like we see that animal, it's injured, an animal it's bleeding, an animal it's dying in that scenario, and we think, and all the people around it thinks that it's bad, and we think that this is why they should be about.
Exactly, and the fact that we like there are some people that found that funny just shows how unhumans we are.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, David Ramos and Gabriela Fuentes. Now we will give the opportunity to Alejandra Pombo and Camilo Zapata to give their presentation. They are from Boston International School.
Hi everyone, we are Alejandra Pombo and me, Camilo Zapata from Boston International School. We're going to present Zeus, entertaining torture or conservation. Let's start. Life of confinement and profound despondency has become the ultimate reality of zoo animals, depriving them of their natural habitats, needs, and freedom. From psychological disorders to poor health and reduced lifespans, zoo animals are left at the mercy of incompetent managements, unsuitable living conditions, and extreme and uncomfortable climate. The imprisonment and isolation of animals face only to be exhibited for humans have serious implications. Researchers and activists face only to exhibit by humans content that animals in captivity exhibit unnatural neurotic and stereotypic behaviors, from aggression to stealth maturation, and I feel that zoos are poor imitation of the Earth-given ecosystems and insufficient substitute for a home, hence stressing the need to release animals into the wild.
That's why we want to say that zoos should be banned because of mistreatment, poor conditions in which animals are kept, and because they are not suitable environment for animals. Zoo animals are kept in a very confined area compared with their vast natural habitat. Behind the walls of zoos mean to keep them safe and healthy. Animals suffer and die on a daily basis under his supervision. All this carnage and trauma so that zoo visitors can snap a photo of animals because they care little about. In a zoo, the natural behavior of animals is hampered. The way they hunt, poke, or swim in rivers and live independently in forests. It is unethical to confine them in cages. Animals are severely limited, like privacy, and have little opportunity for mental stimulation or physical exercise. This condition often leads to abnormal and destructive behavior known as psychosis or zoopsychosis. Captive lions spend 48% of their time walking, a recognized sign of behavior problems, according to International Zoo News. Zoosis, a disorder commonly found among zoo animals in the repetitive and disruptive behavior exhibited by imprisoned animals. The behavior of zoosis are similar to obsessive compulsive disorder, beating the bar, twisting the neck, excessive grooming, rocking, pacing, vomiting, and self-mutilation, according to the same article. A comparative study of the University of Oxford, based on 4 decades of observation of animals in captivity and in the wild, found that animals such as polar bears, lions, and tigers, show clear signs of stress and psychological dysfunction in captivity, and conclude that the natural care of carnivores can be improved, and if not, they should be removed from there. A study of 4,500 elephants, both in the wild and in captivity, found that the average life of an African elephant in a zoo is 16.9 years, while African elephants in a natural reserve killed by natural causes reach life in average of 55 years. The researchers conclude that zoos profoundly impair their viability.
Supporters of zoo argue that they have to conserve endangered species, but in fact they are not very good at this. Even the world-famous panda breeding program has been very costly and unsuccessful. Also, zoo life doesn't prepare animals for the challenges of the life in the wild. For example, 2 red lynxes released into the wild in Colorado died from starvation, and even though the area was full of hares, which are lynx natural prey, only 15% of the thousands of species held in zoos are considered threatened, says Will Travers, president of Born Free, and even a smaller proportion are part of captive breeding programs, and of those, a tiny fraction have been released back into the wild. That's not a record of the justifies of tens of millions of wild animals kept in zoos. Zoos are prisons for the animals, camouflaging their cruelty with the conservation, claims Mimi Bekechi, director of International Programs of PTA, explains. Animals in zoos suffer tremendously, both physically or mentally. They often display neurotic behaviors like repetitive pacing, swaying, and verb-lighting. Not surprising, perhaps considering the typical polar bear's enclosure is 1 million times smaller than the area they would naturally roam. Sus say they work from the protection of endangered species, which sounds like a noble goal, but they generally only favor the most famous and popular zoo animals because they attract crowds and publicity. Also, the Chinese government, for example, rent pandas to zoos around the world for less than $1 million per year. But some question whether the proceeds are truly and comprehensively aimed at protective pandas. Most captive animals in zoos are not in danger of extinction, and those that are will probably never be released.
A recently surfaced video of a brown bear at the Karachi Zoo in the miserable state, languishing in the head, sparked a debate about why zoos exist when they can care about the animals. The video received a lot of attention on social networks, and internet users criticized the administration for the poor condition of the mammal. The bear was trapped in an enclosure and was visibly disturbed and badly indeed in an icy environment, far from what Karachi has to offer. This is another account of animals suffering in a series of similar incidents. Gavan's case is a terrible reminder of what animals in zoos go through when freedom is taken away and loneliness jeopardises their emotional well-being. Although now Islam High Court gave him the green light to be sent to Cambodian sanctuary for a better life. Kawan have in the past been changed up for keepers and subject to neglect and abuse for years, making him the loneliest elephant in the entire world.
Finally, we should get rid of the zoos because they take the animals away from their natural habitats. The animals can live in the wild, and zoos aren't safe for anyone. Some people say that animals in zoos live longer, but even though they couldn't live longer, they live a happy and lonely life. Instead of zoos, perhaps expeditions, where visitors go to the animals instead of the other way. They should be more common. Expeditions will provide education and entertainment that zoos try to emulate without the irreversible damage of abusing wildlife in exchange for a life behind bars. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Alejandra and Camilo from Boston International School. Now, we have the presentation from Sharon Arena and Jose Perez from Instituto La Salle. Sharon Arena and Jose Perez, are you here?
Yes, we hear.
Okay. Okay, well, they get ready. Remember, you can watch this speech contest on our live stream broadcast on YouTube. Colegio Biffi La Salle.
Okay, so we are Jose Perez and Sharon Arana from Instituto de La Salle, and we are going to talk about the zoos should be banned. Okay. Some of the zoos are considered as prison for animals because they are out of their natural habitat and might create some kind of depression on animals because being alone out of their natural home and being locked all the time might make them feel depressed. And why the zoo should be banned is because animals are deprived of their natural habitat, deprived of their natural structure, and forced into close proximity with other species and human, which may be unnatural for them.
Okay, now we're gonna start talking about where is the origin of zoos, why they have been created. Okay, we find out like first two theories or one theory about where started zoos. Zoos start as a collection of pharaohs or kings in Egypt of wild and exotic animals, and they were keep going and evolutionating to what we know now that are the zoos.
And we also found out that the first zoo were created in London in 1828. It was for scientific purposes, like for making a experience in
The public image of zoos is that they are only for learning, but this is completely false. We all know that zoos are a prison of animals, and I'm gonna explain you why. Zoos are prisons, and they are not for education because people only want and only go to zoos just for the entertainment. They don't even want to know what are the animals that are in captivity. Of national zoo in the United States find out by following 700 of visitors of that zoo that they don't even see and they don't even care about the one is in captivity. They just saw the animals like a wallpaper.
And the life investment in animal care is that the zoos vary in size and quality. A million of people visit zoos on annual, but the most people suffer financial losses. Some of the zoos suffer final losses and must find ways to cut costs by figuring out on how attract visitors. The Wall Street Journal report in 2003 that nearly half of the zoos in the world country is facing spending costs. People attend zoos is down in 3% nationally, and found out they are intended to provide better conditions for the animals and often used for aesthetic enhancement such as landscaping and gift shops to visitors.
Actually, despite the animals are were only for learning, the zoos, most of zoos of the world don't have a good, how can I say this, a good habitat for the animals. Even if they have the lot of money to recreate it, it's basically impossible to recreate something like the habitat of that species. They are figured out to run, fly, and like get free of sharing with the other partners of that species.
The animals in the mental health. Studying animals from a human perspective, applying our own category to them, and permitting the analysis of empathy is not the most correct way to approach, even less when it comes to exploring a matter as delicate as mental illness, something typical of people in animal kingdom. Some people think that because of the animals, they don't feel like humans do. And that's false because they can. And being alone at the time and close in a place that isn't their natural habitat might create kind of a depression, make them feel alone, and yeah.
That's it.
Thank you very much, Sharon and Jose from Instituto La Salle. Now we will have the presentation from Marcela Arzuza and Mariana Lacouture from Colegio La Enseñanza.
All right, so I'm going to share screen. Hi everyone, we're going to talk about zoos at daily recreation. Are those places as fantastic as they claim to be? Humans have been capturing and displaying exotic animals for decades. Growing up, we all got excited when our parents took us to that amazing place. It was an unforgettable experience, but the nostalgia had caught our eyes on the abuses that animals experience inside these horrific places. For how long are we going to ignore these problems?
At the beginning, zoos were created more like a private collection than for public enjoyment by the wealthy to show their power. They were called menageries. There is evidence that shows wall carvings in Egypt and Mesopotamia that rulers and aristocrats created menageries as early as 2500 before Christ. There are records that shows expeditions to distant places to bring exotic animals to the menageries. Animal owners hire handlers to make sure their animals reproduce. Zoos also existed in later civilizations such as China, Greece, and Rome. But it wasn't until the 18th century that modern zoos became a thing, during the Age of Enlightenment. During this time, people started wanting to study animals for investigations on animal behavior and anatomy. And to make this possible, scientists needed a place to keep animals in a space that was too similar to natural habitats. The first modern zoo was built in 1873 in Paris, when the menageries of French aristocrats were taken by leaders of the French Revolution and then relocated in the Menagerie du Jardin des Plantes.
Zoos are prisons for animals. Camouflaging the cruelty with conservation claims, animals in zoos suffer tremendously, both physically and mentally. They're prisons rather than homes. For us, it can be a good source of entertainment, but from the animal's perspective, is no less than a life of a prisoner in a confined space. They all make us believe that zoos help the wildlife animals, but in reality, only 15% of the species held in zoos are considered threatened. And even a smaller proportion are part of captive breeding programs. And of those, just a tiny fraction has been released back in the wild. That's not a record that justifies tens of millions of wild animals kept in zoos. Also, zoos are too small for some animals. Larger animals need more space to roam around. For example, polar bears have 1 million less space in zoo, and animals in the wild live more than 3 times as long as those kept in zoos. But zoos aren't safe for humans either. Some of the animals are very stressed and unhappy, so they lash out, hurt, or even kill people. For example, in 2016, a 30-year-old fell into a gorilla's cage. The workers had to shoot the gorilla to save the little kid. This wouldn't have happened if we didn't have zoos. Also, caretakers for many zoos may not be qualified to be handling wild animals. Another example is that a bear starved to death at the Toledo Zoo after zoo officials locked her up to hibernate, not knowing that her species doesn't hibernate. Then again, this wouldn't have happened if we didn't have zoos. Not only that, but there are so many drug cases where zoo animals were being put on the drugs from Trazine to Xanax.
First, we have the case of a gorilla named Willie B, who got put under Torres Indian Nest located in Atlanta, Georgia. He was captured in Congo in the 1960s. and then was sent to the United States, where he lived for 39 years. 27 of them were in a long cage with a tire swing and a television. According to a veterinarian that worked in South Atlanta, Willie broke a glass in his enclosure, so he got transferred to a much smaller cage for 6 months. He weighed 400 pounds and the cage was too small for him. If he stood up and stretched his arms, each arm will touch both sides of the cage at the same time. The staff of the zoo decided to put Thorazine in the Coca-Cola that he drank in the morning. After being medicated, he responded shuffling back and forth from the cage with dull eyes. We also have the case of Gus, a polar bear that lived in the Central Park Zoo. He started to swim figure eights in his food enclosure. He started swimming figure eights in his pool for over 12 hours a day. Gus lived in a 5,000 square foot enclosure, less than 0.00009% of what his range in the Arctic will be. His favorite game was to scare children underwater. He liked to see them scream and run in terror, so the staff decided to put barriers to prevent Gus from scaring children. That's when the compulsive swimming started. Eventually, they decided to give him Prozac, but there is no record of how long he was on. Finally, we have the case of a troop of gorillas at the Franklin Park Zoo in Boston, who were medicated with Haldol, Valium, Clonopin, Zoloft, Paxil, Xanax, Buspar, Prozac, Ativan, Burst, Melaril, and beta blockers. In 1888, a 12-year-old gorilla named Kid arrived at the zoo. The first week he arrived, everything went well with the rest of gorillas who were held captive. But soon he became violent and even impregnated one of the female gorillas named Kiki. Kid was deeply agitated on Kiki's pregnancy until the point that he wouldn't let any other gorilla near her. His ire was focused on another gorilla named Gigi, who was the oldest of the troop. As Kid chased Gigi around the exhibit, Gigi screamed and shook. He even beat her once and opened her scalp from ear to ear.
To sum it up, we need to become more conscious about what is really happening inside zoos. It is not what we think it is, and animals face mistreatment, medical prescriptions, and they are locked in places that are not spacious enough for them to roam and live peacefully. So after all, don't you think it's correct to say that zoos are a daily recreation? Thank you.
Thank you very much to Marcela and Mariana from Colegio La Enseñanza. Now we will have the presentation from Valerie Alvarez and Lucrezia Dimucci from Colegio Biffi La Salle.
Yes. Hello, everyone. We are Lucrezia Mucci and Valeria Alvarez from 9th grade. And today we're going to talk about the topic zoos should be banned. The life of an animal like that of people is composed of contact with its own species. No animal like loneliness for life. No animals like loneliness for life. The satisfaction is to be able to get food on its own and eat when it feels like it. Walk with a friend and a friend at subsale, looking for a partner and maybe take care of your puppy. Especially for animals, it is so important to be in the middle of nature, not in a concrete cage. Humans who are used to living in homes and cities cannot even understand how much suffering causes animals not be in the middle of the nature. None of the worst conditions living the life of an animal can be expected to be met in a zoo. If they have been told that zoos are for animals, they have been lied to. Zoos are used to earn money for the owners. To enter to see the animals, you pay, but the animals that earn nothing. Rather, they receive abuse and suffering. In the world, more than 1 million animals are locked for life in the cages of 10,000 zoos. Someone may have told you that zoos are there to protect endangered animals, but it is hard to believe that this is an effective method. Science ruled the 6,000 terrarium species in the world, only 130 are subject to conservation programs that zoos participate in, and of these, only 16 have returned to the wild. Locking an endangered animal in a cage, or in any case in an enclosure, away from its natural environment,
will not serve to prevent it becoming extinct in this country of origin. To avoid extinction, it is necessary to protect the animal and its natural environment together. Protecting the territory will also protect the animals. In addition, animals that end up in zoos are sentenced to operation for life. It will no longer be possible to release them because they will no longer be able to survive alone.
If you think that the zoo park and the zoo safari are something else, you're very wrong. Of course, it's better to stay in a large than in a closed. But for how much space they can offer the animals, they will never come size to the space that can feel good. Imagine that the hippopotamus can swim for 30 kilometers and it does so quietly in his natural habitat. But where do we find a zoo that has 30 kilometers of river to make it viable? Lions need a larger territory, even 400 square kilometers, but in the zoo, it is enclosed in very small spaces. If then when think about birds, their situation is even sadder. They will be citizens of the sky that has no borders or barriers. Instead, they are forced to remain out in cage, or their wings are cut off so that they cannot get up in flight and escape, which causes enormous suffering, especially to migratory birds that feel very strongly the instinct to leave when they comes time for migrations. The conditions of captivity leave these animals to a mental and physical alienation, also visible in movements and behavior if you learn to observe them carefully. By managing to keep the habit of admiring them exemplars, they could not meet except in a zoo. One will understand that it's immortal to keep them in prison just to allow a man to look at them comfortably, and one will realize the enormous suffering for a sad life behind bars. There are numerous cases that can be cited as a demonstration of the stress that animals incur in zoos. For example, felines that exasperately repeat the same path from one side of the cage to the others, foxes with common muscles and physical disorders, antelopes that sniffing neighboring animals repeatedly throw themselves against the bars until they come into sight. Eagles that fly from one end of the bar to the others, animals that tear their intestines with bites, give haste against the wall, they entangle their tails, break their owners in a vain attempt to break free, and more.
So, it's impossible at this point to continue to believe that the zoo is educational. The only thing that we can learn there is to ignore the suffering animals and have fun while they are sad. For this reason, zoos should be banned.
Defending the freedom and dignity of animals is also up to us. Animals were born to be free. No cage is big enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valerie and Lucrezia from Colegio Biffi. And now we have Maria Iguaran and Maria Alejandra Peña from Colegio La Salle Montería. Are Maria Iguaran and Maria Alejandra Peña here?
Yes, we are here.
Well, hi everyone, receive a cordial greeting. My friend Maria Alejandra Peña and me, Maria Jose Guaran, are in grade 9. We study at La Salle Montería School and we will be talking about the following topic. Live entertainment is more important than virtual entertainment. Table of contents. First, we have here the definition. Second, pros and cons. Third, people's opinions, and finally, conclusion. Entertainment. In time of crisis, entertainment plays very important emotional and practical roles in the life of citizens. It creates a sense of community and allows us to stay connected with others because it offers us moments and experiences that we can share with others. It is also a source of distraction and inspiration, giving us a chance to forget our worries and giving us something to look forward to. Live entertainment. Today, the entertainment industry is evolving to deliver more and more content over the internet. Live entertainment is when this amusement is in person and or close to the show event itself. For example, watching a movie, going to a concert, recital, play, hanging out with friends, amongst others. And the most important thing is for people that are close to the played event is going to happen. Undoubtedly, live entertainment has reinvented itself thanks to technology and will continue to adapt to it in order to offer increasingly innovative content. As a result, in the coming years, we will be able to find more immersive and easily accessible entertainment experiences, no matter where we are physically located. As you know, at the beginning of the pandemic, public entertainment was banned in many places because of protocols and people's health. It was difficult because as individuals, we are used to the idea of living one of these experiences, from entering a movie theater, attending a concert, or living closely a major sporting event, but we could not. But over the time, things have been getting back to normal, things have been improving, and the industry has been working on ways to reinvent itself and continue to provide these experiences, but in a different way. Virtual entertainment. With new standards emerging due to the COVID-19 pandemic this year, the entertainment industry found ways to strive through virtual capabilities. Many companies recreated authentic experiences online for consumers due to the lack of in-person events. Virtual platforms allowed companies to exercise their creative boundaries and create engaging experiences that enhance their mode of entertainment. The entertainment and leisure sector is living a paradox today. While cinemas, theaters, sport shows, bars, hotels, and gyms make up the group of business hardest hit by COVID-19, video games, social networks, music, and streaming TV are having one of their best moments. Never before has virtual entertainment been as sought after and as necessary for society as it has been in the last year. People's lifestyles have changed, and with it, their way of consuming entertainment. Virtual entertainment can be watched from a TV or a computer with the advantage of a big screen or on a cell phone in which you have community, but not a big screen. And the platforms that receive like the highest number of active users or consumers are TikTok, Netflix, Spotify, Instagram, and Facebook. Well, now I will be talking to you about the advantage and disadvantage of or pros and cons. Virtual pros. We have three. First, it's easier to access by a larger and more diverse group of people. It can be watched multiple times. It's usually free or low cost. Virtual cons, this type of entertainment is usually more popular between young people only when, and also watching a virtual event is not the same as watching a live one. Live pros is a unique experience, it's easy for people to enjoy it live, it creates excitement, it's popular among everyone. And finally, live cons, we have porn. Here we have first, it's usually expensive. Two, not everyone can access to it because it is like private. Three, it's not safe to attend one in the context of the pandemic. And four, it can only be enjoyed once. Well, now my friend Maria Alejandra is going to talk to you more about this topic.
So today, live and virtual entertainment are both key in the pandemic. obviously, as we all know, we are living in a pandemic. The context of pandemic is a really grave thing that has happened to us the past year, but also something that has been happening in the last decade and in the last year, is that we're living in a digital age. We're truly living in a digital age, and that is a fact that we cannot deny, and that's a fact that we cannot ignore. So now I'm going to talk about some opinions, reviews, and some things that people say about virtual life entertainment and how we can compare them, which one is the best and which one we support and which one we think that it's the best. So we have some mixed opinions. For example, that the events are cool and we can watch them for hours. Also, I would talk about that digital events usually can be stolen and can be pirated, and this is bad for the economy because during the pandemic, business were closing down, and we had to turn to this virtual kind of experience and entertainment. So this could be pirated, and people and just enterprises and people work on this and can be losing money. Also, we have some people that are more traditional person that they prefer to go see a play and enjoy the moment, which is definitely valid, especially after the pandemic. People want to go out, people want to enjoy the moment, people want to be outside right now, and it's something that is like a collective feeling that we have. Also, we have to include the obvious matter of video games that have been and are a big part of entertainment, virtual and live today, because we can go see people playing them and we can play them ourselves. So it's an important thing that we need to discuss in this theme on virtual live entertainment. Also, we have people that you just like to go outside and entertain themselves by watching people and stuff. So that is also a valid opinion that people have on virtual life entertainment. To give a little conclusion on the theme of virtual life entertainment, we have that both of them are very important for everything that is happening today in the matter of the pandemic. And because both of them are really, really important, we can really give and support one of the another. And it's undeniable that virtual entertainment has been a key part of economy, a key part of mental health, a key part of everything that is happening right now in our life. Without virtual entertainment, where would we be? What we'll be doing right now? Also, I do believe that virtual entertainment can get tiring sometimes because most of us are receiving classes or walking to a screen. So also entertaining yourself to a screen is kind of tiring. So it's also added that live entertainment is really important and it has to retake part if an economy and if our life after the pandemic. Because right now the pandemic is kind of stopping and ending. Fortunately, we have the vaccine and other things, so it's important for us to retake part in live entertainment and for us to retake the traditional methods of entertaining ourselves and our family. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria Jose and Maria Alejandra from Colegio La Salle Monteria. And that's how we end our first category, acrobats for ninth graders. And now we will start our next category, tamers, which are 10th graders. And the first group we have is Luis Melo and Nicole Madiedo from American School. Do we have Luis Melo and Nicole Madiedo?
Yes.
They will share the screen for us. Okay, good morning. We are Nicole and Luis from American School, and today we're going to present the use of animals for entertainment and why it should be outlawed.
Okay, what do animals represent for people? Animals, for many people, are an important company in their lives, while many people consider animals of great importance due to the company they provide to their lives. Others think they are just good creatures, and on the other hand, there are also those who believe that they are in this world to make us have fun and serve us. But is it true? Do they enjoy looking at us laughing? Are they happy with all the jobs they have been assigned since they were born just because they are animals? What right do we have to train them like toys or to train them against their will? Does our entertainment justify their pain? We will talk about this matter from different points of view, like ethical, social, etc. Okay, why we shouldn't evolve animals in circus. During many years, animals have been used for entertainment, where they suffer many types of abuse. For people, circus is a culture. Seeing tigers, animals, lions, and sometimes also elephants is common since they rub with shows and impulse animals without knowing how much they suffer just because of being born as a circus animal. And it's not fair that they have no freedom of living in their natural habitat just for giving us a good time.
Animals for entertainment have been shown to us in movies since we were children. And as an example of this, I'm going to show you Dumbo, a movie we all know and that shows how animals have been separated from their families for aesthetic reasons. In this case, Dumbo was born with big, huge ears. For that reason, he was bullied and hated from his owners and from everyone else. The only moment in his life where he was happy was when he was able to escape, showing us this sad but true reality.
Since the 19th century, freak shows have become and in Europe, where people could go and have the time of their life making fun of individuals with specific physical conditions and or disabilities. These freaks will dance, talk, get beaten, or anything they could do to entertain people and earn a few cents. That's how Joseph Carey Merrick, also known as the Elephant Man, Grace McDaniels, the one with the mole face, and others were being humiliated in front of millions, while the circus owners were getting rich. During the 20th century, the world started to notice these were horrendous, degrading, and disgusting acts, and they stopped going to the shows to protect their rights. However, even nowadays, in the 21st century, animals are still part of these shows.
Nobody talks about how they are trained through punishment to act against their own nature and instincts and do things they just wouldn't do on their own. For example, tigers riding elephants, lions jumping through fire, and so it goes. We have come to the point where our own greed has blinded us and made us think we are superior, and we have the right to punish and destroy any species we consider inferior to us. Do we need animals to have fun? Of course not. We have other sources which don't include animals being tortured. For example, foreigners come to Colombia, and this also happens in other countries such as Spain, thinking that playing, taking pictures, or watching animals acting in shows, it is culture. But the reality, it's not. Some amusement parks have been receiving hate the last few years, and it is true that they are not allowed to train animals to give shows, though the problem is that those places rescue them and keep them until they recover 100%. Some of them have no permission to buy more animals. But if we stop going to these parks, how can the parks feed them if they stop receiving money? So we not only need to stop supporting these parks, but we also need to think about the future of those animals. People might think bullfights, also known as corrida de toros, are culture, but that just shows how selfish, ignorant, and inefficient law enforcers are in our country. In recent years, animal rights activists tried to propose a law to ban and forbid the bullfights, and the government's response was that they will not be forbidden because they have been an important symbol of our culture. But what is worse is that some people enjoy seeing bulls getting stabbed, mocked, and killed by the bullfighter, and vice versa.
In conclusion, in order to evolve as a species, we must learn to cooperate and live in harmony with any kind of life on our planet. and of course that includes animals. Some people justify their actions, saying that they are beasts like any kind of intelligence. However, if you think about them, we are not any better.
No animal species has hurt itself to almost extinction like we have. No animal species kills with evil intentions. They just kill for instinct or for survival. Throughout our history as a race, we have done unforgivable things just to realize and regret 100 years later. We expect people to control their actions and stop being more animals than the ones they consider fair to kill. No animals should be suiting our thirst for killing. And now I quote from Pablo Coelho: "The day a man will be forbidden will be the day he decides to forgive himself." That's it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Luis and Nicole from American School. Now we have Valentina Quintero and Fernando Lascano from American School.
Ay, 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 ay.
Well, good morning. We are Valentina Quintero and Fernando Lascano from American School, and today we will be sharing with you our presentation about how zoos should be or not a ban.
Valentina. I think they have any problem there because left the room. So let's continue with next group. Tomás Bustos and Samuel Gallego from La Salle Envigado. Tomás Bustos and Samuel Gallego, are they here?
The teacher, I am here, but Thomas is not.
Okay. Can you do your presentation?
The first known zoos were created by wealthy owners in order to display their possessions. Back then, they were called menageries, a collection of wild animals kept in captivity for exhibition, and it symbolized power. Then, wall carvings, which dates back around 2,500 years before Christ, were found in Egypt, which provide evidence that rulers back then to create menageries.
Can you hear me?
The illustrations show that they traveled far to bring exotic animals such as giraffes, elephants, and dolphins, and ensure that there were animal handlers to take care of the animals.
Yes?
We couldn't hear you. I mean, your presentation.
You have
I don't know if you were having some problems with the internet connection, so we couldn't hear your presentation. I don't know if you can start over again.
Pardon, we believe we cannot hear you very well. Can you repeat that for us, please?
I think you were having problems with your internet connection, so we couldn't hear your presentation from the beginning. I don't know if you can start over again.
Do we have to begin again with our presentation?
Yes, please.
Sorry, do we have to begin again?
Can you hear me?
All right. Can we be heard and seen now?
Yeah, we can see you, but we cannot see your presentation.
All right, we will begin again. There's no problem. One second, please. All right. My name is Valentina Quintero, and I'm here with Fernando Lozcano. We are from American School, and today we will present our presentation about how zoos should be banned or not. A zoo is a place where people get a chance to get a closer look at animals and finding all kinds of them, such as birds, insects, reptiles, and even more. But that's not its unique function. Zoos serve as breeding grounds for animals, supporting the preservation of some species and helping to understand and discover new things about them. Over the years, zoos have become an extremely famous public place where people visit mainly for educational and recreational purposes. A survey conducted by the World Association of Zoos in collaboration with national and regional zoos areas showed that annually over 700 million people visit these per year, and specifically over 181 million people in the US, over 25 million in Australia, and 22 people in the UK. Even so, animal protection organizations and animal rights advocates question and raise opinions against the concept of captivating animals, whether it is for educational purposes or breeding purposes. They simply believe zoos seize freedom from animals, and its concept is wrong from an ethical point of view. For safety reasons and the sake of the animal's health, those that don't operate according to imposed protocols to preserve the well-being of the species should be closed and banned. However, we believe these need to remain operating under certain conditions.
The first
Valentina, Fernando, can you hear me? Okay, they got cut off for one more time, so let's continue with our next presentation. Samuel Gallego from La Salle, Envigado.
Teacher, as Tomas is not here, I was wondering if we could wait for him because he has the presentation.
Oh my God. Okay, let's continue with the next group. Okay, the next presentation is from Marianella, Fiorio, and Maria Jurado from Colegio del Sagrado Corazón Villa Puerto.
Hi, we're here.
Okay.
Okay, let's share screen. Okay, good morning, everyone. My partner, Marianella Fiorillo, and I, Maria Patricia Jurado, are here to talk about zoos and if they should be banned. So let's start from the beginning. Zoos. Okay, the word zoo is used to name anything related to zoology, and zoology is the science which studies animals. So everything with zoos is supposed to be related to investigation and research. But in fact, are there any zoos who care only about animals and their investigation? What are zoos in today's world? It's just a matter of science, or they are becoming the new concentrational camps for animals? It's about education, or it's about recreation.
Now we need to take a look back in history to know how long zoos have existed. First, we need to know they're not new. The concept zoo has existed for more than 3,000 years, long back ago in the continent of Africa, most specifically in Egypt. The word zoo might be new, but the concept definitely isn't. Some important events in history that mark the existence of zoos can be when Wen Wang, the Chinese emperor, ordered the construction of places called wisdom parks. These were made to show collections of animals that were considered rare, like rhinos, tigers, and snakes. This was because one associated animals with highness, and they pretend to show the luxurious and prestigious characteristics of the kingdom. Later on in time, the Spanish journalist Hernán Cortés described the Zoo of Moctezuma as the main attraction of the Aztec Imperium. This zoo was located in the capital, Tenochtitlan, reinforcing the idea that animals were some type of entertainment. Because they have existed for such a long time, they have presented different types of transformations. And like we see in this slide, we have a picture on the left that shows the before and on the right and after of what zoos normally used to and now look like. But the change is not just a matter of appearance, also on their purpose. For what we know and for what it told, zoos used to show animals and some type of luxury items. And now we're being told that zoos are and have been conservation areas for animals. But now we know this was actually not the main purpose these places cared about. So what is the actual problem?
Okay, we need to know that the main problem of zoos is they are not taking as their main problem, they're taking care of animals. There are about 30,000 of zoos in the world that exhibits around millions of animals every day and receive thousands of visitors every day. They work with the same two rules, education and science, but they are losing the main focus of the speech. We need to know that we're making so much damage in the younger population because we are teaching them, the kids, that it's okay to use animals for the sole purpose of entertainment. It's not about entertainment. The freedom of the animals is being taken away. And the science has proved it. Psychosis is a reality and it's an abnormal behavior that it's seen in animals in captivity, and we know it. Everyone's know it, but we are not doing something about it. However, we are not away from other realities. We know that there are institutions that works for the animals. An example of this is the Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary that works with more than 130 koalas and with other animals. They are being taken care of them. They are taking care of them, but they are living in freedom.
Now for our final question. Should they be banned? Here are our final thoughts. The main problem with zoos is that they're falling apart from their actual purpose and paying too much attention to tourism and the media. If zoos want to take care of animals, they need to change their restriction as soon as possible so they can actually contribute to the problem they're trying to help. In order to take care of animals, they should be taken 100% seriously. And this is sadly not done by zoos. So this is what we think they need a change of direction, what we call the new future of zoos. As Mahatma Gandhi said, the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. Animals are living creatures that can feel as much as humans do, and this is what they need to be taken care of. It is okay for us to appreciate their beauty because they are as unique as any other living creatures. But we cannot do so in a way that limits their freedom. And if zoos are still going to be doing this, then we think they definitely should be banned. But if they want to hear us and apply what we call their new future, then there's still a possibility that they can make a difference. Thank you for listening to us, and we hope you liked our speech.
Thank you very much, Marianella and Maria from Colegio del Sagrado Corazón, Villa Puerto. Now we will have the presentation from Mónica Arcila and Isabela Rodriguez from Instituto San Carlos de la Salle. Monica Arcila and Isabella Rodriguez, are you here? Let's continue then with our next participant, Mariana Rincón Mejía from San Jose de la Salle. Mariana Rincón Mejía. Okay, let's continue dance with our next participants. We have Gina Gomez and Valeria Vargas from Instituto La Salle.
We are here, we're gonna put the presentation and the video. Well, hello everyone. My name is Gina Gomez, and today with my partner Valeria Vargas, we're going to be talking about the use of animals for entertainment and why they should be allowed. First of all, we're going to start with an introduction. For a long time, humankind has used animals in a variety of different ways to provide human entertainment. The use of animals in entertainment creates serious issues in both terms of the welfare of the individual animals, as well in some cases, the species conservation. The entertainment industry covers an enormous range of uses of animals. In fact, this is probably the most diverse area of animal abuse and also the least justifiable. There are welfare problems in most cases, and the most extreme forms of entertainment causes immense suffering and many animal deaths. As the Australian philosopher Peter Singer says, attempts to defend amusement parks and circuses on the grounds that they educate people about animals should not be taken seriously. Such enterprises are part of the commercial industry, and the most important lesson they teach impressionable young minds that it is acceptable to keep animals in captivity for human amusement. Why humans use animals for entertainment purposes? Entertainment may be defined as something diverting or engaging, but it is not essential to human life. But it may increase our quality of life through the increase in our positive emotions, income, and other factors. As the module 20 of the welfare animal of uses in entertainment by the World Animal Protection, they say that it's probably the primary reason why animals are used in entertainment because of financial gain. Here we have the use of animals and what generates income for different stakeholders. First of all, individuals who attend the entertainment or watching remotely often gamble on their results, which may increase their income. The governments that levy taxes on those individuals and the bidding agencies, which increase public funds. The owners of the facilities concerned charge admission for make their living. And finally, animal owners who benefit financially from the cash prizes for the fastest or the winner or otherwise the most successful animal in these events. Here we have some photos of one of the main uses of animals on entertainment. First of all, we have killing, which may be realized, and one of the most common is hunting. Animal club fights will be like bullfighting, dog fighting. Here we have a photo of cockfighting and so much more. Performing like circuses, aquariums, dressages with horses, racings, and zoos. And finally, tourism, that this includes the use of animals and rides or photographs. Also, a lot of tourists go to these events that we mentioned before, as the bullfights, any animal fight, racing, and some performance. A lot of these activities keep these animals out of their habitats, forcing them into the close proximity with other animals and with human beings, which may be unnatural for them, and also they may experience a lower quality life than in their natural habitats. Now I'm going to be talking with you the consequences. So on these practices, all the bad consequences fall in the life and integrity of the animals. Therefore, the main causes of the lack of good health and well-being of these living creatures are, I'm going to give you 3 different environments. The first one is circus. Animals such as elephants are often kept shut by 2 legs when they're not performing in circus entertainment, which causes injuries on their bodies. On the other hand, we have primates and a lot of more animals that are forced to eat, sleep, and relieve themselves in tiny cages. Now, we also have zoos, which sentence intelligent social animals to live in cage for fleeting distraction and amusement, and they're not so much better. The animals get extremely bored, depressed, and deprived of everything that is important and natural to them. Animals in zoos literally lose their minds, and this is a condition called zoochosis. Animals with zoochosis engage in neurotic behaviors such as pacing, spinning, and bobbing their heads into walls. They also mutilate themselves. They become overly aggressive, not only with other animals, but also with their caretakers and with all their environment. They throw faces and they, in general, engage in other abnormal behaviors that are not seen in the wild. Now, we also have animals used in rodeos, horse racing, those leg racing, and cruel sports. They're forced to run for their lives. When they aren't being used in competitions, they're usually kept chained or in cages, even in stalls. And those who don't make the cut are often casually discarded by being sent to a slaughter, and they get usually killed. So they basically get punished for a race that they didn't choose to have. A more deep example is podcast shows. So some of the reason of why these kinds of animals are in danger when they are kept in captivity for performing on sea shows are, first, orcas, whether wild-born or captive bred, cannot thrive in captivity. This is why Naomi Rose says she is a marine mammal scientist at the Animal Welfare Institute, a non-profit organization at Washington, D.C. Orcas are massive animals that swim vast distances in the wild, 40 miles a day on average. Not just because they can, but because they need to forage their varied diet and to exercise. They dive 100 to 500 feet every day of the week, several times a day. And a giant pool cannot provide them the amount of swimming that they need to get to have a good health. They also present different types of suffering, such as tooth damage. And actually, a peer-reviewed 2017 study in the journal Archive of Oral Biology found that a quarter of all orcas in United States have several tooth damage. 70% have at least some damage to their teeth, and some orcas population that are actually in the wild and in the sea have tooth damage as well, but this is actually pretty natural to them. And this is all the contrary to orcas that are on seashells, because they get it because they usually hit their teeth into tank walls. Now, according to this same study, the damage occurs largely because captive orcas recently ground their teeth on tank walls, often to the point where the nerves are exposed. These ground down spots remain as often cavities highly susceptible to infection, even if their caretakers regularly flush them with clean water. Conclusion. The conclusion that we want to give to you and kind of seed to you and plant a little thought is that animals being used for entertainment purposes is a topic that is immoral and should be illegal in its entirety. The integrity of these living beings as well as their health is in danger, which is why it's completely unacceptable to normalize the use of animals for our entertainment and amusement. We need to keep in mind that these individuals do not have logical reasoning that could compare to ours, and it is utterly selfish to think that the freedom of these creatures should be under our control. Now, given these points, we must be aware of our cruelty and escapism and acknowledge that we can still improve this. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation.
Thank you very much, Gina and Valeria. And before we have our next participants, remember that if your presentation is not within 5 and 7 minutes, you will have a penalization in your points, okay? Now, let's continue with Isabela Dusan and Juliana Escolar from Instituto La Salle.
Hello, good morning. My name is Isabela Usan, and together with my friend Juliana Escolar, we are going to talk to you about it, children in the entertainment industry. Okay, seeing children in all intermediate media has become a phenomenon all around the world, an action that should not be done because of the danger to which children are exposed, such as sexualization, consumerism, and the absence of privacy. Factors that can consumers and lack of privacy make a child vulnerable to life while childhood really is facing great risks in their daily lives. Although hypersexualization can be reflected in both boys and girls, it tends to affect the latter more in recent years and increase in the female infantile sexualization has been observed. For example, in numerous advertising campaigns, in children's beauty segments, or more recently in beauty salons for girls. Now, these are some of the factors which negatively affect the children's industry. First, sexualization. Sexualization occurs when a person's body comes only from or her sexual attractiveness or behavior to the exclusion of the other characteristics. When a person is held to a standard that equates being attractive with being sexy, or even when a person becomes a thing for the sexual use to the others. The rectification or sexual objectification occurs when a person is seen only as a sexual object. It happens when a sexual attributes and physical beauty are separated from the rest of the personality and exist as an individual. And child exploitation or exploitation, it is the work performed by children between the framework of a production system, in this case, in the entertainment industry. This type of exploitation has many forms, one of which is that the child is a victim of mafia, so persuasively is forced into prostitution.
Okay, and how does the problematic affect children? We live in a world of massive violence. This can be seen in music, videos, advertising, series, fashion, etc., where they are shown to people, including children, as a product to be able to consume. Many of the minors who are in the entertainment industry having laws that protect them, but these are violated in many cases with brutality, stealing their power to enjoy what is to be a child and the opportunity to have a normal childhood or a beautiful childhood, because they choose to act as adults or being exploited to generate money and entertainment for the society. Okay, now we're going to talk about of the extreme sexualization of Britney Spears, this beautiful singer. She, at just 11 years old, Spears was of the most beloved characters in American television, thanks to her participation in the famous show Mickey Club. Being a few years later, very known in the world of fame thanks to her cool song, Tell Me Baby One More Time. Yeah. With only 16 years old. She was an example of how putting on a skirt or a mini top didn't turn you into a sexual person or a sexual person, or at least that was what young people think in that time. But the thing that we didn't know was that her image was sexualized like a commercial point of view, even almost pornographic. Her career affecting her mental and physical health over the years, where she's still a slave for the consumer society. And last, this is a little reflection that we as an individual for a change in the world. Society eats the freedom of children in silence. Well, we know that society demands from us symbols and how we should be to please it absolutely. Unfortunately, this taught to us since we are very, very, very young, so we tend to follow certain or force us to follow some rules, no matter the age. One person's experience can be more intense than other and can be very dangerous and damaging for the person. That is why we have to aware that the world is full of violence, and in order to reduce and stop perpetuating it. So maybe in the future we can make a change in the world. So thank you very much and see you until the next speech contest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isabella and Juliana. And before we have our next participants, we're gonna give Valentina and Fernando from American School the opportunity to wrap up their presentation. They have internet issues.
Okay, now we will continue with our presentation. We apologize for the inconvenience. All right, undoubtedly, there are cons to these institutions as well. When being trapped in a cage a considerable amount of time, animals can develop certain behaviors that affect their stability. Many animals are cramped and often are unable to exhibit natural behaviors as they would in their natural habitats. With various restrictions in some of these zoos, animals may begin to stimulate depression and increase in mental health. Some of them do nothing but stand around in their tiny spaces with absolutely nothing to do. This behavior is known as zoochosis, something many captive animals get. Many symptoms include pacing, grooming too much, and bobbing their heads. It may seem amusing to some, but for the animals, it is indeed tormenting. Saving endangered animals is just a mere excuse for generating revenues. Although they might spend quite some time on making zoos attractive, behind the scenes, proper food, treatment, and good health facilities may not be provided in every institution. Some animals are not built to be confined into small places, especially animals such as elephants, giraffes, among others. There are other certain behaviors of some animals, such as hibernation and migration behaviors.
On the other hand, zoos create a learning environment not only for kids, but for the entire community, including scientists offering them a better ways to identify, understand, and study behavior patterns. These also protect endangered animals, as in the wild they don't come with the necessary protection. Endangered animals are left in hands of leading researchers and experts who observe their habits and breeding patterns to help them breed and prevent extinction. Furthermore, zoos work with vets and professionals so animals have ensured the best possible care. Most zoos try to replicate the natural habitats of the animal and provide them with their respective nutrition and diet. This institution helps humans by providing jobs for people from various fields. To set an example, zoos hire qualified personnel that is trained to take care of the animal. Vets are required to stay 24 hours with the animal in case of an emergency, and also needs tour guide, janitor, food service, souvenir vendors, and many other manpowers. Zoos in a large city such as Seattle can have a budget of more than $40 million without taking into account the income caused by tourist influx. However, there are animals at risk of extinction that need private services always offers to the species. To set an example, with local people and the Madagascar government specialist workers to gain support and raise funds to set up the acclaimed Ronamafana National Park in return for not exploring the resources in the forest and zoos. Local people were provided with schools and healthcare facilities as well as new employment opportunities within the park. The park now receives over 100,000 visitors each month, bringing much needed money into the local economy, fomenting a good usage of the resources and right of the animals.
To summarize, we believe for the animals and the people, zoos should be not abolished. Within these places, there are lots of animals that are protected by human hands. They provide education and entertainment to the community, among the other positive factors. As a matter of fact, a balance shall be found between these institutions to save endangered animals from extinction, to put efforts into conserving their habitats, provide exhibitions with educational purposes, as it is its main background, prohibit any attempt to remove animals from their original habitats, while taking severely into account the physical and mental health of the animals, as well as other practices that can be considered unethical. What's the reality of being inside a zoo for the animals and for the people who love and care for them? There's a lot of joy and there's a lot of work to be done. Thomas French. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Valentina and Fernando. Now we have our next participants, Isabela Navarro and Camila Roballo from Colegio Biffi La Salle.
Can you see the screen? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Now, my partner Isabela Navarro and I, Camila Roballo, will be presenting this interesting topic that is live entertainment versus virtual entertainment.
Okay, to start, we wanted to show you this quote from Madison Taylor. She's an actress, and here she says, "And face-to-face interaction is vital. A tea date, a walk together, anything in person so that two set of eyes can gaze upon each other and arms can reach out in a warm embrace, exchanging energy."
That's a really interesting quote. Thank you, Isabella. Now, this is a little introduction for you to understand way better the meaning of these two and the middle point of it. Do you know what is the real meaning of entertainment? Let me tell you in simple words. It is the action of providing or being provided by amusement or enjoyment. Something that makes you feel delight or cheerful, joyful, maybe. Then we have the virtual, that is when the people be a guest absolutely behind the screen, like us right now. But also there is live. That is when all people is face to face and there is physical contact. But also, if you don't know, there is hybrid. That is when some are virtual and some others in person. And now that it seems really clear, let's move on. Since the pandemic of COVID-19, we have been allotted to this issue, or let's call it typical controversial topic, the typical what to do when we are bored.
Thank you, Camilla. And now I wanted to explain you, here we have some examples for all things that we are all familiar with. Here we have music at first. And with music, have you ever listened to a song and say like, oh, I'm absolutely loving this song. I would really like to hear it in a concert or in a performance or maybe in a meet and greet to meet the singer. So that is because the human mind react positively to the moment and react positively to the moment that you can live, that you can touch, that you can feel the energy of the other people. So that's why when we are in a concert, we enjoy more because we see the react of the other people, we see the energy going on, another person is screaming, and that is the motive of it. And second, we have movies. With music, movies, we are referring about cinema entertainment or cinema industry. So maybe you guys will think that when you see a movie in a Netflix in your home, it's really funny. But when you go to a cinema to see the movie in the cinema, it's more than experience. It's something different. So I think also the human mind or the humans enjoy more of that. 3, we have shows. And with shows, we wanted to talk about art shows or theater shows or dance shows because it's really difficult to like feel it through a screen and feel it, for example, in a virtual concert or in a virtual presentation of dance. For example, I'm a ballerina, so for me it was really hard the last year to dance for a screen because I didn't see the public there and was so sad. That's a word because I like to feel the vibe in it. And 4, we have exhibitions. With exhibitions, we also are going to talk about art, and we're meaning specifically like art paint exhibitions or a museum exhibitions that it's kind of impossible to fill it in virtual because when you want to go to a museum, you want to take pictures, you want to enjoy the halls and all the essence that has a museum. So yeah, that's all the benefits that have the live entertainment. And yeah.
Yeah, that's true, all that you are saying. And I also want to say that both has pros and cons. But we have the conclusion that interaction is the best way of entertainment. Yes, of course it is, but why? Because it's more fascinating to see the facial expressions and the oral expression and the body expressions. Yeah, of course we can see it in virtual, but it's better to do it in face to face. I mean, it's better when you are vibing, you are catching the vibe of the other people. They are really more than just words. The interaction that we have on life is top, is the highest, is the best. And a quarter of the society prefer the virtual instead of the live, but we really want to know why. Because we all know that it's better like do it in person, like meaning face to face, because you have that interaction that is much better. Also, if there is one of you that prefer the live rather than the virtual, let us know. And if it's the other case that prefer the virtual instead of the live, let us know and tell us why, because it's interesting that there's people that prefer that. I mean, it's normal because all of us has different point of view, but we really want to know. We will be appreciating your participation if you want. And also, I want to say that all your opinions are good, and don't hesitate to tell us. Thank you so much. If you have something to ask, don't hesitate. We hope all your doubts have been answered.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Isabella and Camila. It's a shame we don't have time for questions. So let's continue with our next participants. We have Jose Alejandro Correa and Daniela Vergara from Colegio La Salle, Monteria. Okay, Jose. We cannot hear you. Daniela, we cannot hear you. You having problems with your microphone or something? So let's give the chance to Jose to start the presentation. Because we're on a tight schedule.
I can start, but Daniela said on the chat that she's going to enter with another device.
Okay. So, Mister, can you please start the presentation?
I was meaning that let's wait from Daniela.
Daniela is typing on the chat.
Yeah, we accepted her. But...
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Daniela Vergara, and my partner is Jose Correa. We are from Monteria, and today we will be discussing an important topic, kids and entertainment. To all the presents, I have a question for you. Might you be afraid that today kids spend way too much time on their phones? We have a big concern of that. Entertainment has a big influence on our lives, and we should pay attention to the media we are consuming. But we should have a special care with kids' entertainment. As we know, kids can do anything they see on the media. We also know that entertainment has a brief variety of contents. There's there's music, there's social media, there's video game, and there's TV shows, and a lot more. Kids could learn a lot of things from those contents. I'm going with the example of TV shows. Most of them try to teach kids ethics and moral values. And while that's good, we think we could expect and should expect more from the entertainment. As for today, only a few contents have an educational element on them, talking about academic education, like math, science, or something from that range. Entertainment could be a great tool to promote learning toward kids. And it's a shame that it's not used for that. Because not only does it offer us different formats and contents, it is also really easy to access for everyone. And kids learning this way could have a great experience because they won't have the school and teachers pressure.
It is very difficult to stop doing something we like to do, something we see ourselves at forced to do, and especially when we are required to learn. Today, we see the example of many marginalized children on a tablet or cell phone. All their thought is focused on the device. There is nothing that can detach them from this. And it is partly the fault of the training industry, which we provides empty fund that does not do more than that, amuse us, which is a serious error and more when it comes to children who are at an age where what we should prioritize is education. It is necessary to point out the example of TikTok, which is an app that perhaps most of us know that consists of showing us a series of videos, usually 15 seconds long, having a methodology that between you scroll down and scroll down, the more videos you see, and you can spend the whole day watching videos in the app. On the other hand, it is estimated that only in the United States, there are at least 18 million users under the age of 13, according to data from July 2020. This being an impressive fact that returning to the theme of operation of this app, it is not something that provides productive value in the life of children, since the vast majority of these videos these children see are not educational.
Yes, Jose, but that's not the only example. There's a lot of streaming platforms, one of those being YouTube, the biggest streaming platform at the moment. On that platform, it's really popular between kids, content that might not be really good for them. Although the fact that this platform does offer a variety of videos they could choose from. I'm going to highlight the fact that this platform also have a special tool that can prevent teachers, that can prevent kids from malicious content, that being YouTube Kids. But it's sad that this feature isn't really on most streaming platforms, and we think that should change.
But it is not just the entertainment that is wrong. The education in childhood is also seen as a problem. And you just need to remember our childhood stage and see how motivated we were to learn. We passed all the day in the school and then we got back to the house, seeing it was all a mess with our mom or dad forcing us to review what we had seen. The escaping to all of this was the entertainment media that hindered learning. Next, please. So we propose you an idea that is combining these two, entertainment and education. An example would be a history video game that talks about real events that would teach from past situations, but at the same time entertain us. It is an alternative that turns out to be beneficial for the child and that does not affect the educational process.
As said before, we understand the fact that entertainment has a lot of content. So we think that us asking for more educational content is something appropriate and accurate to the situation now. We also want to clarify that we are not looking to restrict anyone's free choice to choose and make whatever content they want. We just want to include more educational content on today's entertainment for kids. It doesn't harm anybody and it's really helpful for children.
Daniela said, by saying all of that we did, we do not mean that it is wrong for children to entertain themselves. In fact, it is important to see and do what we like to stay motivated. But it would be so much better if we combine entertainment with education. So then they are balanced, that while having fun, they learn, and this will make them educate themselves. We have the opportunity to make a change. Society must be responsible for encouraging the use of these methods. Also, they should provide more opportunities to achieve the objective of promoting education. And it is not only society, but also schools should talk about consuming content of the type and not empty content. We must flood the market with educational entertainment. Thanks. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you very much for your presentation, Jose Correa and Daniela Vergara from Colegio La Salle Monteria. And with these two participants, we ended the second category, tamers, and we're going to continue with ring masters with 11th graders. And the first participants are Tomás Sepúlveda and Vivian Reyes from La Salle, Envigado.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, we are going to talk about the animals in the entertainment should be banned. So, uh, the way the entertainment in general animals are used like photograph and accessories for tourists all over the world. That is most common in the circuses. There are different forms of entertainment that use exotic animals or domestic animals, such as circuses, like television commercials, green cards, movies, and TV shows, among others. In addition, wild animals are used as an entertainment and photographic accessories for tourists from all over the world. Primates, big cats, bears, elephants, camels, sea lions, and others are commonly performing forced and unnatural behaviors. They can be owned by a circus or belong to a specialized rental agencies. On the circus ring, animals exist to be dominated, to obey, or to fulfill our wishes. No matter how absurd and even ridiculous the circus shows with the animals are not an isolated case, a particular problem, but we are part of a system, part of a strategy that this civilization uses to dominate nature and the same time to prevent from our defending. So why not to go to see animals in the circuses? The circuses with animals are today a business in absolute conflict with the values of our time that refuses to evolve, review itself out, and share comfort. but society is no longer willing to make it easy for them. Proof of this are made than more than 400 municipalities that have declared themselves free of circuses with animals. In Spain, are preventing their installation on the territory. Countries such as Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, Hungary, Portugal, Sweden, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Norway, Costa Rica, Peru, India, Israel, and among others, are have banned the use of any animals in these shows, and the domestic too. Of course, circuses are not the only type of show that use animals for the realization. There are also the zoos, which in most cases are collections of interesting animals. They are not shelters or homes for animals. Even under the best conditions, it is impossible to duplicate or come close to creating something similar to the true habitat in which they live. Animals are prevented for performing the most behaviors that are innate are vital to them, such as running, flying, climbing, or being accompanied with other companions of their species. Zoos only teach the public that it's acceptable to interfere with the animals and the capacity. Despite of the boredom, the overcoming, the loneliness, and the depression of the most elementary and natural ways to their kind. Virginia McKenna, born free activist in favor of animals in captivity, emphasized that wild animals become to nature. They should not be imprisoned in zoos. Freedom is a precious concept, and animals have suffered physically, mentally, from the lack of freedom that captivity imposed of them.
So the source variability in size and quality, there are from parks to enclosure with concrete slabs and iron barbs. Millions of people visit zoos annually, but most of the economic losses, and they must find ways to cut costs by figuring out to attract visitors. The Wall Street Journal report in 2003 that nearly half of the nation's zoos are facing spending cuts. People attendance at zoos in down 3% nationally, and the funds that are used to provide better conditions for the animals are often used for cosmetic aspects, such as gift shops to attract visitors. Ultimately, the animals and sometimes visitors are the only ones who pay the price. Let's look some example. Tatiana, a Siberian tigress, escaped in 2007 from a substandard close at San Francisco Zoo and was shot dead after killing one person and injuring others a year early. Tatiana had mutilated one of the zookeepers. In Argentina, a 7-year-old boy was attacked by a bear from the Mundo Animal Park, ripping off his arm, forearm, and left hand. These are just a few examples of zoo incidents caused by reduced cost of caring for animals. Zoo claims to provide educational opportunity, but most visitors spend only a few minutes at each captive location, mostly looking for entertainment rather than training. Most zoos are very small, and instead of promotion, understanding, or respect for animals, they offer only a little information about their diet and the different species that exist and their natural environment. The tourist industry is also notorious for its use of wild animals. You have to see barbarian makens and other primates that frequently drug are shown in the Sock of Morocco in Spain, and the dancing monkeys of of Asia, or the elephants rides in other parts. All these semblings in aquatic practice involve animal abuse to greater or lesser extent and should disappear from our holy photo albums. AAP works together with broad group of animal protection organizations to alert tourists to these issues and make them aware of their role in ending the problem. Simple say no. So how we can end this? It's very simple. In fact, only by ceasing to support those organizations that profit from these acts, and it's possible to end them. By ceasing to buy tickets for circus and zoos, and by ceasing to pay for elephant rights, not by supporting horse races or others animals, among many other examples of action you can take to nip this global problem on its roots. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tomás and Vivian from La Salle Envigado. And now our next participants, Sofía Arango and Jerónimo Parrado from La Salle Envigado too.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so hello everyone. We are Jerónimo Parrado and Sofía Arango from La Salle Envigado, and today we're going to talk about how live entertainment is more important than virtual entertainment. Okay, so what is entertainment? The term entertain not only involves distraction for pleasure through some leisure activity, but also means diverting a person's attention to achieve some goal. That is wasting time. It can also be related to the concept of procrastination, which is postponement of activities that must be carried out at a certain time by other placements, one less importance, avoiding the main ones. The arrival of new technologies has also redefined the concept, creating a new range of options and possibilities in this area. However, despite the evolution in the ways of entertaining, the cause and purpose of such an action remains the same.
Hello for everyone, I'm Jerónimo. And what is virtual entertainment? With the new standards that emerged due to the COVID-19 pandemic this year, the entertainment industry found ways to strive through virtual capabilities. Many companies turn to recreate authentic online experience for consumers due to the lack of in-person events. Virtual platforms allow its companies to exercise their creative limits and create engaging experience that enhance their mode of entertainment. For example, brands like Fortnite leverage their digital expertise by collaborating with neighboring partners like Warner Bros. To create in-game movie nights. So while the people were in the pandemic, some brands create experience for the people that obviously cannot participate in live events.
Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about the impact of COVID-19. The entertainment industry has also been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Perhaps this is the industry most affected, given that is popularly considered as an activity of much lower and with zero level of vital importance. In 2020, the entire global theatrical and home mobile entertainment market total of $80.8 billion, the lowest figure since 2016, and a decline of 18% from 2019.
Okay, the influence of the media on children has still increased as new, more sophisticated types of media have been developed and made available to American public, as well as created affordability for American families, has provided easier access to media for children. Beneficial effects include early preparation for effects for learning, educational enrichment, opportunities to watch or participate in discussions and social issues, exposure to the arts through music and performance, and entertainment. Harmful effects can result from sensational of violent behavior, exposure to sublet or explicit sexual content, promotion of unrealistic body image, presentation of poor health habits and desirable practices, and export to the persuasive advertisements and directs at children. At conclusion, we believe that live internment will never be the same as virtual internment. Every live experience is different, and you will never be able to replace a screen internment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sofia and Jerónimo from La Salle, Envigado. Now, our next participants, Sofía Quemelo and Samuel González from San José de la Salle, Medellín. Sofía and Samuel, are you here? Let's continue with our next participants, Mariana Arroyave and Alejandro Fontalvo from Colegio del Sagrado Corazón, Villa Puerto.
Hi, good morning. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, do you guys see everything? Everything looks good, or do we have any problems?
It's okay.
Oh, okay. Let's start. Okay. Good morning. My name is Mariana Rodave, and with my partner Alejandro Fontalvo, we are going to talk why kids shouldn't take part on the entertainment industry. In our presentation, we called Child Stars: the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
So let me start by asking you a question. Have you ever wondered what happened with the children we see in commercial television programs, in a concert, or on the big screen? The answer is most likely no. We don't normally wonder if their childhood rights are being respected. Maybe it's because we rarely realize that those guys who entertain us are working. Therefore, it is necessary to talk about the relevant facts that affect the life of these young people that are full of fans, thanks to the entertainment industry. Also, we have to take in account that general child labor in entertainment is not well monitored. Let's start by understanding the problem.
That's right, Alejandro. Let's start by understanding the problem. So, we have to ask ourselves an important question. What is a child star? Who are they? What do they even do? So, a child star is a star who got fame in TV, film, or music at the peak of their formative years. It can be also known as teen star. Some samples of these can be, you may know them, Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes, Justin Bieber, Drew Barrymore, Aaron Carter, Macaulay Culkin, and Miley Cyrus, and Jenny McCordy. But you may be wondering, what all these people have in common? Well, I wish I could say that they are happy, famous, and rich, but no. What they actually have in common is that what they actually have in common is multiple sites of rehab, relation to alcohol and drugs, militant lockdowns, and parental guarantee that shows no sign of ending. And these moments we ask, when we see these rising stars who have a bright future, suddenly turn problematic, and sort of problematic and wrong, the whole world shakes its collective heads and asks, what went wrong? And yes, when we see spaces and realize these are the same people we grew up fashion, these are the same people we admire, we realize that most of this pain comes from them being a child star. And we ask ourselves, how is that even legal?
Yes, Mariana. California child labor laws allow youth of almost any age to work in the entertainment industry, subject to several restrictions and limitations that prioritize the youth's permit to work, the hours of work, daily time work for the infants, what happens during their work time, and the meal breaks. But Something that we must mention is that even though there are a lot of this law and regulation that try to help with this issue, but that doesn't stop parents, managers, or producers from breaking this law and abusing these children.
And there is a lot more that we don't know that is happening inside the Hollywood industry. And we have to start paying attention to the negative effect that fame has on these child stars.
Yes, so having a dazzling career and receiving the worst attention in the dream of is the dream of man. But what few know is that perhaps that is one of the factors that contribute to living less. This question can be accompanied by a couple of hypotheses, such as that psychological and family pressure to have a successful public life led to self-destructive tendencies throughout their life, or even that having a personality that tends to take risks. Well, so which could influence the probabilities to be successful, led them to smoke, use alcohol, or illicit drugs in an attempt to improve their performance in short order. Well, there is no conclusive answer, Mariana. This pattern, for whatever reason, should be seen as a warning from young aspiring stars.
Okay, so yeah, it's true. There's no conclusive answer, but we can get an insight of what it's really like being a child star. So on August 11th, HBO premiered the show Showbiz Kids. That is a documentary that shows the conflicting role of boys and girls who venture into acting, the audiovisual entertainment industry. The documentary narrates the price of fame and failure can cause personally and professionally in minors, as well as the consequences they live for the rest of their lives after reaching stardom at such an early age. It includes testimonies from Cameron Boyce from Jessie and Mara Wilson from Matilda. But Showbiz Kids is not the only place we can hear the truth of what's really happening in these people's lives.
Just like Luis Miguel, who tends to the biosphere of El Sol, we learned that his father, Luisito Rey, exploited him for a year. He took him out of school and even drugged him to make him perform better at work.
Or Macaulay Culkin, whose parents got divorced in 1995 and started a legal dispute on who gets Culkin fortune.
Yes, and something similar happened with the childhood of the king of pop, Michael Jackson, which was noticed at all. His father, Joe, exploited and beat him. Michael's personal doctor revealed that Joe chemically castrated the singer to prevent his voice from being deep when he grew up.
And the worst part of this is that we are part of the problem. As a society, we have to understand that although we are not the main or direct cause of the problem, we have a large responsibility for being so permissive when we hear scandals involving a child star.
We must begin by asking ourselves, what can we do? For that, we have to take a look back and put a stop to our way of providing security to this entertainment industry that every day is filled with pedophilia, corruption, and discrimination, causing the bad experience of these young stars who are thrown into this world of cameras and fame.
In conclusion, yes, kids shouldn't take part of the entertainment industry, but the truth of all of this is that that doesn't stop them from doing it, even though some of them are very aware of the risk.
We have to raise our voice against the non-regulation, the violation, and the lack of information around all these celebrities that from a young age begin to forge their autonomous careers as a representative of the industry. We mustn't allow another child like Michael Jackson or Lindsay Lohan to suffer from the blatant abuse that their parents give to their careers. We need to tell ourselves and society that reject any kind of discriminatory remarks toward them.
We have to repudiate any sexual abuse or attempts towards any of them.
We are part of the change. Let's stop for a minute and say no more. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariana and Alejandro from Colegio del Sagrado Corazón, Villapuerto. And now we have the presentation of our next participants, Santiago Aguilar and Andrés Reyes from Instituto San Carlos de la Salle.
Hi. Wait like a little bit. Wait just a second, We're starting.
Hi, well, we are going to present live entertainment and
Wait us, wait us a little bit. We share the screen. Oh no. Wait, wait, wait us, wait us like a little bit. Good. Hello guys, today we will expose or we will talk about the live entertainment and how it is more important than the virtual presentations. We will focus more on the music industry and how it shows in different aspects. Continue, just move it. Yeah.
okay, this is the table of contents. We have 8 points. Here are 6 of them, and in another slide, there are 2 more. Well, the first is introduction. Live ambient for entertainment is the second one. Live concerts is the third one. Quote for from an artist is the fourth. The COVID issue and the entertainment solution and personal thoughts is the sixth one.
Okay, continuing, we have another pack of quotes. And last but not least, the outcome. Okay, moving on. The live entertainment we will define because it's a spirit activity provided for enjoyment by a group of persons that are physically present. This is interesting because the live presentations could be connect a lot of people in the same place for a specific activity to just not have an excellent time and also spend a time living the music and feeling it. The expression about the live entertainment and why is this important is because it's from the years ago that we will live in this and it's so important to us and so important to the society.
Well, the virtual entertainment. The virtual entertainment is the kind of entertainment that isn't face to face. Meaning by that the host and the audience aren't in the same place. It could be by computer, cell phone, and in any social media.
Yeah, that's it. From this, we have evidence from the biggest concerts in the history.
Live concerts.
Live concerts in the history section. The first live concert or the most important has been the Copacabana New Year's Eve concert in 1994 and 1995 that around 3.5 million people been to this place. It's amazing to view went to this place and knew how so many people could be at a specific place enjoying the music. The second one we have is 857 Moscow concert in 1997 that approximately the same million of quantity of people as it's to this concert. And we have the Bastille Day concert in 1990s that approximately 2 million of people assist.
Well, there's our first artist quote. This is Kiko Loureiro's quote that he's a Megadeth lead guitar player. Well, according to this very important theme or topic, he says, it's much worse playing for 10 people than playing for 10,000. Believe it or not. It means by itself that it's way more difficult playing for people that expect lots of you than 10,000 people that you don't know. And this relates also the virtual issues that isn't face to face. Well, the pandemic, pros and cons of the entertainment industry. Well, the problems here are that there are more distractions, maybe in your house, in your bedroom, and among others. Less enthusiasm, we know that because isn't as feelingful as live concerts of live entertainment. The confinement, well, we get enclosed in our house for our health, but and less sensations, as I said before. The solution, well, the solution was making activities virtual by computer and yes, and more access to, there are more access, less cost, there are cheaper or even other are free ones, like YouTube live videos and live concerts. Yes, are more safe for our health, providing security issues. And is more repeatable because all the things that are transmitted on YouTube on Zoom are recorded.
Okay, moving on, our personal opinions. I will explain it faster because we are still being on time. First of all, we have live entertainment is way more exciting than virtual entertainment. Second of all, we have live presentations are better to hang out with friends. Third of all, we have in virtual entertainment, you don't have to be in time. And four, we have virtual entertainment is the best option during a pandemic because it's the most safe option. And in both type of entertainment are different kinds of feelings. And the sixth one, in both types of we enjoy or the persons, the music and the art from other people.
Well, our personal experience, we divided into two ways, live and virtual. I'm gonna explain the live. In the case of live entertainment, it must feeling full for ourselves because every cell of our body is shaking because of the loud or maybe the enthusiasm you put in the activity. And also, this is unbelievable, I think.
Okay, in our experience with virtual presentations, we can say that this kind of entertainment doesn't have the same energy and feelings, but the connection between the public and the host aren't just the same as in live entertainment. Like an example could be this. We are in a presentation and we don't feel that you are trying to connect with us. Okay. And the phrases from
The three quotes from Beverly Hill, Rodriguez, and Jim James. This shutdown continues to have a ripple effect. If artists don't get paid, then everyone from managers to bus drivers. What we lack in rock and roll energy, we make up for in times. And then in Jim James, like music is proof that there's some things that internet can kill. Thanks a lot. It's very grateful to have this opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Santiago and Andrés from Instituto San Carlos de la Salle. Our next participants, Lucas Camacho and Juan David Jaimes from La Salle, Bogotá. Lucas and Juan David, are you here? Lucas Camacho, Juan David Jaimes. Okay, let's move on to our next participants. We have Gabriel Arcila and Mare Mejia from Instituto La Salle. Gabriel and Mare.
They are not here.
Okay. So let's continue with our last participants, Santiago Diaz and Ivana Bustamante from Colegio La Salle, Montería. Santiago Díaz. Ivana Bustamante. Okay, so that was the end of the school presentations. The winners of this speech contest will be announced next Friday, the 22nd at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the live streaming of our Biffi First Awards is our closing ceremony. You can watch it. Please go live with us on our YouTube channel. We will share with you the nominees and we will share the link with you. Before we leave, we would like to hear some words from our judges. Mauricio.
Hello, hello. Thank you once again for inviting me. I was really impressed. All the presentations were really, really good. And I'm sure Miriam and me will have a difficult time picking one winner because all of them did it great. Great topics, pronunciation, really good pronunciation. Grammar was good. The slides also were good. So we have to check really, really good to see who the winner is. Okay. Congratulations, everybody that participated today. You are doing a really, really good job. The different schools, I can see you're working on the bilingual thing really hard. And here we see the results.
Yes, I think that Mauricio said everything. It was a great level. It's difficult to find out who can do it the best because I think that everyone here do their best. All the speeches were great with a great content. I think that you provide all the information that it was necessary to, to take a position about all the things that you were talking about. The slides were great. When I was trying to, to just check everything inside the rubric, it was difficult because for me, all of you have a 5. I mean, it's great to see how can you express your ideas and your opinions about things that are related to your life as youth, as also all the research that you did around the topics. And I think that the delivery that that you show here with everything was a right position because it was a neutral position. It was not like, okay, I want to stimulate you to think this or try to force the other people to be in your side. You were only given the information in the right way, so everybody here can have their own perspective about everything. When you were talking, I was also getting my own opinions and thinking, by myself about all the things that you were saying and trying to design my own criteria about everything. So congratulations for everything. I think it was a great contest, a great speech contest. All your opinions were great, all the ideas, everything. For me, it's really difficult. I think that, as Mauricio said, I need to to sit and talk about everything because it's gonna be really hard to find out, the best of you, because I think that's not the right word. You did your best, all of you, but it's a contest, so it has to be a winner.
A winner.
So, okay, let's see what happens. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mauricio and Miriam. And thank you everyone for all of the participants that were taking part in this contest. Thank you for accepting the invitation to come here and show your skills. It was really awesome to watch you, to watch how you can, as they say, show your opinions and present the information to all of us. Thank you very much. So the judges will be discussing and deciding to find out who the winner will be. You participants will receive in your email the nomination. And remember, next Friday, the October the 22nd at 2 in the afternoon, we will be broadcasting our Biffi Fest Awards. Is the closing ceremony in which you can see the winners of this contest. As you know, we in Biffi Fest have different contests, so you can see the winner of all the contests we have had. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Sí, esto es 100%.